Why women secretly love these 8 things more than money, psychology tricks. A woman's heart should be so hidden in God that a man has to seek him just to find her. Max Lucado. You gave her everything, the gifts, the romantic dinners, the promises that she'd never have to worry about a thing. But then one day, she went quiet. Her texts turned cold. Her eyes didn't shine the way they used to. And before you knew it, she was gone. Here's the painful truth: she didn't leave you for a man who had more. She left for a man who had less. Less money, less status, less material wealth. But he had something you didn't see in time. If you've ever been ghosted, replaced, or worse, disrespected in your own home, then listen closely. Because women don't walk away because of what's missing in your wallet. They walk away because of what's missing in you. And that's why these 8 hidden psychological triggers, things women secretly love more than money, are the real currency in relationships. 1. Emotional control. Every woman will test you, not because she's cruel, not because she enjoys drama, but because her instincts demand it. She wants to know if you're anchored or if you'll drift away at the first sign of a storm. That's the secret of female psychology most men never learn. She's not testing you to see if you're perfect. She's testing you to see if you're real, strong, and unshakable. The brutal truth? The moment she senses that your emotions run you instead of you running them, the game changes. Respect fades, safety dissolves, and attraction slips away like sand through your fingers. You could earn 6 figures, drive a shiny car, or shower her with gifts, but if she doesn't feel safe in your presence, she will eventually step back, first subtly, then completely. Don't mistake emotional control for being cold. That is not strength, that is cowardice disguised as ice. Real strength is being grounded, steady, calm, even when life throws chaos in your face. It's the difference between reacting from pain and responding from power. And here's where most men fail: no one ever taught us this. We were trained to either suppress until we explode or drown our feelings until we go numb. That's why so many relationships collapse. Men swing between silent withdrawal and explosive outbursts, leaving women walking on eggshells around the very man they should feel safest with. And no woman, listen closely, no woman wants to feel unsafe in the arms of the man she shares her bed with. Think back. Was there a moment when you snapped and you saw the light dim in her eyes? Not fear, worse. Disappointment. That was the moment she stopped trusting your frame. Because when you can't hold yourself, she no longer feels held. Let me drop a hidden gem of female psychology that women rarely speak out loud. Her tantrum isn't the real test. Your reaction is. She isn't asking, "Can I break him?" She's asking, "Will he break himself?" And the men who fail, well, they become forgettable. But the man who passes, who breathes, who steadies, who stays calm under pressure, that man unlocks her deepest instinct: trust. That's the moment she softens. That's when she leans in instead of pulling away. That's the quiet secret of how to fall in love, not with words, not with money, but with presence. Don't confuse silence with strength. Silence born from shutdown is as damaging as an explosion. Cold silence punishes, isolates, and wounds more deeply than anger ever could. True emotional control doesn't freeze her out. It creates space for both of you to breathe. It's holding the fire without letting it burn the house down. You want psychology tricks? Here are 3 you must master. First, slow down. When tension rises, your job is not to defend, not to attack, not to explain. Just breathe. Presence is power. Second, observe without judgment. Ask yourself, what am I feeling right now? What part of me wants to lash out? The moment you name the emotion, you disarm it. The moment you own it, you grow stronger than it. Third, lead. Say, "Let's pause. I want to respond with clarity, not heat." That one sentence rewires the whole dynamic. You stop being a reactor, you become a leader. And women don't crave control. They crave leadership, the kind that comes from mastery, not dominance. Understand this shift. Emotional control isn't about becoming emotionless. It's about emotional leadership. When everything goes sideways, don't be the loudest voice. Be the steadiest presence. That is what earns her respect. That is what makes her feel safe enough to be soft. And make no mistake, this applies beyond romance. In business, friendships, and fatherhood, people follow the one who remains calm under fire. But in love, it's the deepest trigger of desire. Women are drawn to the man who stays steady in chaos, not because he controls her, but because he masters himself. You don't win a woman's heart by shouting louder. You don't keep her trust by punishing her with silence. You earn both by showing that your calm is stronger than her storm. That's why presence, stillness, and self-mastery are the ultimate currency of attraction. Let her feel your strength in your stillness. Let her feel your care in your calm. That's when she'll lean closer, not because of your wallet, not because of your gifts, not because of promises, but because of who you are when things get hard. That's the secret code of female psychology and the real, how to fall in love story she'll never admit she's testing you for. So next time your pride screams, your blood boils, or your fear begs for control, stop. Ask yourself one question. Who do I want to be in this moment? Because that answer defines you. A man who cannot master his emotions will always be ruled by them. But the man who can, he doesn't just stay in her memory. He stays in her heart, and that makes him unforgettable. 2. Purpose. She wasn't drawn to your bank account, your car, or even the shine on your watch. She was drawn to your energy, the hunger in your gut, the spark in your eyes when you spoke about your dreams. That was the fire that pulled her in. But somewhere along the way, that spark dimmed. And when it did, so did her desire. Here's the truth you need to swallow. You didn't lose her because you stopped loving her. You lost her because you stopped leading yourself. Don't make her your mission. A woman doesn't want to be the center of your universe. Forget that Hallmark nonsense. She doesn't want to be the planet you revolve around. She wants to orbit you, a man already in motion, moving with power, building, creating, leading. Be honest. Who's more magnetic? The guy who survives each week just to binge watch another season of whatever's trending? Or the man who's fueled by a mission so big he barely notices the noise of the world? Exactly. Purpose is magnetic. That's why women instinctively lean toward the man who builds, not the man who merely survives. Comfort is the real enemy. Don't live for comfort. Comfort is quicksand. The man who lives for his couch and snacks will always lose to the man who lives for his mission. Be the man who risks. Be the man who strives. Be the man who keeps reaching, even when his hands are raw. That's the man she respects. That's the man she secretly dreams of. What's your fire? So what's your mission? And don't say, I want to be rich. Money is a result, not a mission. Your mission is the thing that lights you up at 3 a.m. The idea that makes you pace the room because your brain won't shut off. The obsession that makes you forget to check your phone. That kind of purpose is rare, and it's exactly what makes you a high-value man. When a woman senses that in you, she softens. She relaxes. She feels safe because she knows you're going somewhere and she's free to ride shotgun. The trap that kills desire. Here's where most men screw up. The moment they fall in love, they stop climbing. They stop creating. They stop leading. Slowly, they turn the woman into their purpose. Big mistake. Place her above your mission, and she'll eventually pull away. Not because she doesn't love you, but because you've handed her the burden of being your entire source of meaning. No woman wants that responsibility. A brutal secret women won't say out loud. The most attractive man isn't the one who showers her with roses, endless texts, or desperate attention. The most attractive man is the one who could walk away from everything except his purpose. That is masculine energy. He'll grieve if she leaves, but he won't break. He'll feel heartbreak, but he won't abandon himself. He'll miss her, but he'll never stop moving forward. That's the man she respects. That's the man who attracts women without even trying. Her words translated. If you've ever heard her sigh, I just don't know what we're doing anymore, what she really meant was, you stopped showing me where we're going. Your job isn't to chase her approval. Your job is to become such a man of vision, movement, and conviction that she wants to follow. If you feel lost right now, consider this your wake-up call. Reconnect with the fire that existed before she came along. Ask yourself, what did you love before love distracted you? What dream did you put on pause? What version of yourself is buried under self-abandonment? dig him back up. He's still there, waiting. The man she can't resist. Purpose doesn't mean you have all the answers. It means you're searching for something deeper than her approval. Ask yourself honestly, if she vanished tomorrow, would you still know where you're going? Because when you live with mission, she feels it. Your direction gives her security. Your obsession gives her freedom. Your movement gives her meaning. Be the man who never stops moving forward. Be the man of vision. Be the man of purpose. That is how you become a high-value man. That is how you embody masculine energy. And that is how you attract women, not with money, not with games, but with something far more powerful, your mission. If you found this powerful, give it a like, drop a comment, and share it with someone who needs to hear this today. Don't forget to subscribe for more wisdom that helps you grow stronger in purpose and vision. Comment to remember, I lead with purpose and never abandon my mission. 3. Self-discipline. Self-discipline is one of those 8 things women quietly value far beyond money because it signals something cash can't buy: steadiness, strength, and a man who won't crumble when life leans hard. Don't confuse gifts with gravity, because presence with an iron mind creates security money cannot. You must understand the psychology. Consistency is proof of character, and character is what admiration feeds on. That is the point. She begins losing respect not when you stop loving her, but when you stop leaving yourself. Don't let that happen. In modern life, the enemies are subtle: endless scrolling, late-night binges, comfort posing as self-care, and goals pushed to next week until next week never comes. Discipline equals freedom, says Jocko Willink. And he's right. Discipline is oxygen for attraction. No oxygen, no fire. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength, wrote Marcus Aurelius, echoing old Stoic wisdom that still rules the room. When you hold the line, she feels it, the way you move, the way you decide, the way your yes means yes and your no means no. Don't chase validation. Build validation inside. Money buys dinners, but discipline buys trust. Money impresses for a night. Discipline impresses for a lifetime. That is why women secretly rank it above wealth. It predicts the future. It says, this man finishes what he starts. It says, this man is safe to build with. What gets measured gets managed. Peter Drucker taught, so measure. Track your habits. Track your sleep. Track your training. Don't just promise, prove. Let old Stoic wisdom guide your mornings before the world wakes. You must set standards in ink, not in air. Write them in a journal. Post them on your wall. Stick them on your phone. Don't negotiate with yourself at 6 a.m. The brain loves easy. Make easy serve you in A. World engineered to hijack dopamine, attention is your currency and routine is your vault. Don't spend it on distractions. Spend it on depth. Let Stoicism win in the micro moments. When the alarm rings, when the plate is full, when the urge to quit whispers, small wins compound into dominance. That is how momentum returns. You used to train, to build, to learn. Start again. Short workouts beat skipped workouts. One page beats no pages. One call beats no calls. Don't wait for motivation, act. Then motivation follows. We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, then, is not an act but a habit, wrote historian Will Durant summarizing Aristotle. Take it personally. Your habits are your loudest speech. In the modern arena, a strong calendar is armor. Block your mornings. Guard your evenings. Say no more. You must protect the mission. If a man won't command his day will command him. And when your day commands you, respect leaks. She notices. She won't mother you. She wants to admire you. Give her a reason. Show up early. Lift heavy. Weights or responsibilities. Read more than you scroll. Turn your phone into a tool, not a toy. Don't worship comfort. Comfort is quicksand. Choose challenge. Choose standards. Choose the long game. That is how Stoicism win becomes visible without you bragging. Your posture changes. Your voice steadies. Your pace sharpens. You stop arguing and start executing. Crave fewer highs and build higher floors. You don't need revenge. You need rhythm. You don't need to prove her wrong. You need to prove yourself right. Don't buy flowers first. Buy a notebook. Write the 5 rules you will not break this month. Write the 3 habits you will not skip. Write the one goal that gets a daily rep. Then move your body. Then protect your diet like a contract. Then put your phone in another room at night. Simple, strong, repeatable. Let Old Stoic wisdom anchor your identity. Act with virtue. Tolerate discomfort. Own your choices. That is leadership, and leadership is attractive. It calms. Storms. It reassures. It invites respect. Twice a day, ask, did I keep my word to myself? If not, fix it in the next hour, not someday. Don't spiral. Correct. Course correcting is strength. Perfection is a trap. Resilience is the edge. Remember, luck is what happens when preparation meets opportunity. Seneca wrote, prepare by reading, by training, by saving, by sleeping. That is an iron mind in practice. An iron mind turns chaos into clarity. An iron mind keeps promises under pressure. In a noisy culture, your quiet standards will roar. You must choose that path. Let Stoicism win again tomorrow, and the next day, and the next. Handle your money, yes, but master your mornings more. It's not the car you park in her driveway, it's the character you park in her life. Don't collapse when life hits. Breathe, stand, execute. Steady beats flashy, reliable beats rich. The man who owns himself wins the room, the day, the decade. Go first, go early, go consistently. That is how you become the man she salutes, even if she's no longer yours, because you stand tall with an iron mind, because your actions reflect old Stoic wisdom, and because in a world that sells shortcuts, you choose the long road where Stoicism win again and again, until victory isn't a moment but a lifestyle. 4. Calm presence. This is the secret weapon most men overlook, yet it's one of the most powerful psychology tricks you'll ever learn if you truly want to understand female psychology and master how to fall in love in a way that lasts. Don't kid yourself into thinking that sitting beside her at dinner or lounging on the couch counts as being there. That is the rookie mistake, believing physical closeness equals connection. It doesn't. Women can feel when your mind is checked out, and it cuts deep. To her, absence is absence, whether your body is in the room or not. You must realize that presence is more valuable than diamonds, smoother than flattery, and far more intoxicating than money. Presence is the rarest currency in today's distracted world, and if you learn to spend it wisely, you'll be unforgettable. A woman can sense your nervous system like a radar tuned to your very soul. That is why if you're anxious, she feels restless. If you're scattered, she feels unsafe. If you're grounded, calm, steady, suddenly her whole world softens. Be the man who puts the phone down, who listens with his eyes, who doesn't just hear words, but actually feels the meaning behind them. Don't mistake calm presence for passivity. It's not about being silent like a piece of furniture. It's about being a grounding force in her chaos. In a noisy, scattered world, the man who radiates peace becomes the one she instinctively leans toward. That is how female psychology works, and why calm presence is the ultimate magnet in love. Here's the truth. Women secretly crave this more than they'll ever say out loud. They'll accept flowers, compliments, even vacations, but what melts their defenses, what unlocks their trust, is the man whose silence feels safer than another man's sweet words. You must train this presence like a muscle. Eliminate noise, both inside and outside. Guard your mind from distractions, say no more often. Protect your peace like it's sacred. Breathe deeply, practice daily solitude, and learn to romanticize the ordinary. Notice her tone, the flicker in her eyes, even her silence. Treat those small details as sacred because, to her, they are. Don't rush to fix everything she says. Sometimes the most powerful act of love is just being steady, letting her rest against your calm heartbeat without judgment or solutions. This is where the true psychology tricks of love reveal themselves. Don't underestimate the power of quiet gravity. Presence makes her feel safe, wanted, and understood. It is the foundation of how to fall in love and stay in love. When you master calm presence, you stop being the guy who's around and become the man she can't imagine living without. That is the essence of female psychology. You don't have to compete with money, status, or flash when you can offer what every woman secretly longs for: a steady anchor in a restless world. Be that calm. Be that presence. And watch her heart lean toward you again, not because you dazzled her, but because you grounded her. In the end, it's not about doing more, it's about being more. More here, more still, more present. If you find today's content useful to you, don't forget to share your feelings and lessons with us. Or simply comment, "Very cool." It's a great encouragement for our channel makers. Thank you very much. 5. Integrity. She didn't leave because you weren't enough. Stop telling yourself that fairy tale. She left because you forgot who you were. Not to her, but to yourself. You think it was the argument, the late night texts, maybe another man. Wrong. The real breakup started long before she packed her bags. It began the moment you broke your promises, not to her, but to you. You said you'd hit the gym. You didn't. You swore you'd quit the bottle. You didn't. You promised you'd focus, build, lead. Instead, you distracted, avoided, escaped. And here's the kicker. Women have radar for this. They can smell when a man is lying to himself. They don't need proof, they feel it. They sense it in your hesitation, your inconsistency, your foggy energy. A man without integrity loses his gravity. And a woman cannot trust a man who doesn't even trust himself. Integrity is more than morality. Don't confuse integrity with being a nice guy. That's surface level nonsense. Integrity is stability. It's knowing who you are no matter the storm. It's acting from your core, not from your panic. That creates safety, and no, money can't buy that. When a woman feels that kind of safety, your masculine energy radiates. That's when you stop chasing. That's when you start to attract women without even trying. That's the high-value man every woman quietly prays for but rarely finds. The mirror never lies. Most men only discover this truth after the damage is done. When the texts stop. When the house is silent. When it's just you and a mirror. That's when the real conversation begins. Who was I becoming? Did I abandon myself just to keep her happy? Did I shapeshift just to avoid conflict? Don't run from that silence. Sit in it. Let it burn. Pain is not your enemy, it's your compass. That's where integrity is rebuilt. Not in front of her, but in front of you. Start small, but start today. Integrity isn't rebuilt in grand speeches or flashy apologies. It's in the daily grind. Wake up when you say you will. Do the hard thing you've avoided for years. Say no when something violates your values. Keep your word, especially when no one's watching. Do that, and slowly, you reconnect with your core. You stop performing. You stop chasing. You stop begging for scraps of validation. You stand tall, grounded, unshakable. The man with integrity. Here's the difference. A man with integrity doesn't react, he responds. He doesn't seek validation, he honors truth. He isn't swayed by temptation, his direction is clear. And paradoxically, the less you try to control everything, the more power you actually hold. That's masculine energy in its purest form. Earn your respect first. You want her back? Don't text her a novel. Don't beg for her attention. Forget the tricks. Forget the games. Earn your own respect first. Because when your thoughts, words, and actions finally match, you radiate something no woman can resist: wholeness. And that, gentleman, is more valuable than any paycheck. That's what makes you a high-value man. That's what makes you magnetic. That's what makes her lean in again, not because she has to, but because she can't help herself. Don't forget this. A man without integrity is noise. But a man with integrity? That's music. 6. Masculine energy is greater than money. Listen carefully. Money is a tool, but masculine energy is power, and that power is what women crave, respect, and follow. Don't fool yourself into thinking a fat bank account will make her admire you, because admiration is never for sale. Women are drawn not to your wallet, but to the way they feel when they are in your presence, and if you lack masculine energy, they will test you, lead you, and ultimately resent you. Old Stoic wisdom teaches us that wealth without strength of character is nothing but decoration, and Stoicism win comes only to the man who stands firm when storms rise. Picture this in modern life. One man drives the flashy Tesla, spends big on vacations, but he is indecisive, apologetic, desperate for approval. Another man drives a dented pickup, works hard, lives simply. But when he speaks, his voice carries certainty. When challenged, he stands his ground. When life gets tough, he doesn't flinch. Which one commands respect? The answer is iron mind clear. Women follow strength, not status. As Marcus Aurelius said, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Masculine energy is not aggression, but direction. Not dominance, but clarity. Not noise, but presence. A man anchored in himself becomes a lighthouse, steady, unshaken, guiding, not grasping. Women don't want a savior, they want an anchor. Don't chase her approval. Don't over-explain your boundaries. Don't crumble to keep the peace. That is weakness, and weakness kills desire. The moment you fear losing her, you have already lost yourself. Instead, lead with vision, with truth, with certainty. Be full within yourself so you choose her, not from need, but from strength. That is where devotion begins. Women will test you, not to break you, but to feel your edge, to know if you can stay grounded when they cannot. And when they discover your iron mind holds steady, they soften, they relax, they submit, not out of fear, but because your strength allows their softness to bloom. Don't forget, money can buy attention, but only masculine energy earns respect and keeps desire alive. In a world where men are told to play safe, to compromise endlessly, to hide their edge, remember this. Compliance kills attraction, but conviction ignites it. Women want polarity, the dance of direction and surrender, of leadership and trust. And that is built not with money, but with presence. Epictetus once declared, wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants. A man who needs nothing cannot be controlled. Be that man. Don't perform, don't pretend, don't mask. Be congruent, be rooted, be unapologetically clear about who you are. In today's world of social media flexing and fake status games, your masculine energy is rarer than gold. Drop the performance. Stand tall in truth. Hold your frame when tested. Lead with clarity when chaos comes. That is Old Stoic wisdom in action. That is Stoicism win. That is the iron mind women admire, respect, and cannot resist. Money fades, looks fade, status fades. Masculine energy does not fade, it compounds. And when you master both money and masculine energy, you don't just attract women, you lead them, naturally, powerfully, without games. In the end, she doesn't want your lifestyle, she wants your leadership. Don't chase love by becoming less of the man who deserves it. Become the man who leads, the man who commands respect, the man whose very presence changes the air in the room. That is victory. That is mastery. That is how you win. Masculine energy isn't about money, it's about presence, clarity, and leadership. If you choose to embody that, comment below, I lead with certainty, not with money. 7. Humor and the ability to bring joy. You can wine and dine, flash the keys, and order the chef's special with a flourish. But if being with you feels like carrying a backpack full of bricks, she'll quietly slip away because what melts a woman's guard isn't price tags, it's the lightness you bring into the room. Don't confuse entertainment with connection because the point isn't to perform, it's to reframe the moment. And that is the quiet superpower most men overlook. No matter how old you are, be the man who turns a long grocery line into a playful challenge, traffic into a mini road trip, a setback into a shared wink that says, "We've got this." Because in female psychology, the vibe you create beats the bill you pay, and if you're tempted by flashy psychology tricks, remember they're only shortcuts to what really matters, making her feel safe enough to laugh. You must understand that humor isn't clowning or constant punchlines. It's warmth plus timing plus awareness. It's reading her face, noticing the tight shoulders after a hard day, and softly teasing the situation instead of the person. It's the difference between saying, "Lighten up," and showing her how to breathe again. Don't aim for laughs at her expense. Aim for gentle relief, because laughter is oxygen for a relationship. And in female psychology, that oxygen signals, "I'm okay with life, and I'm okay with you." When she leans into you mid-laugh, She isn't only amused, she's exhaling worry, and that is intimacy disguised as a giggle. Be playful, not performative. Use a mischievous glance, a tiny exaggeration, a mock dramatic bow when you burn the toast, a one-liner that breaks the tension right before the meeting she's dreading. You must create micro moments of joy on purpose. A silly inside joke you resurrect at the right time, a quick text that reframes her morning, a quiet grin that says, "We're on the same team. Don't overdo it. Kill the bit before it kills the mood, and keep sarcasm on a leash because the goal is safety, not sharpness." In practical terms, think of humor as masculine calm, wearing a smile, steady eye contact, relaxed tone, a touch of spontaneity. That is how to fall in love in real life, not in highlight reels. And if you're still hunting for psychology tricks, here's one that works because it's honest. Reflect her feeling in a playful frame. Today tried to tackle you. Should I file a complaint with Tuesday? Then follow it with presence, because presence without wit feels heavy and wit without presence feels hollow. You must listen first, then lighten. Don't compete with her stress, disarm it. Don't rush to fix, invite her to breathe by making the moment smaller and kinder. Be curious about what actually tickles her. Dry humor, clever wordplay, gentle slapstick, and build your shared language. That is how couples create private worlds that money can't buy. Remember, a woman doesn't need you to be a comedian. She needs you to be a joyful filter that softens life's glare. And in female psychology, that filter reads as strength, not silliness. If you're wondering how to fall in love and stay there, start by making ordinary minutes feel lighter than they were before you walked in. Think less Rolex, more relief. Less spectacle, more spark. Don't buy laughter, earn it through attunement. Be the man who notices, adjusts, and adds a touch of fun like salt to a meal, enough to brighten, never to overwhelm. You must also protect playfulness from the three killers: bitterness, boredom, and busyness. Bitterness turns humor into barbs. Boredom repeats the same line until it dies. Busyness steals the tiny windows where connection lives, so plan for spontaneity. Yes, schedule room for the unplanned. That is how you keep joy on tap. And before you chase more psychology tricks, understand this simple calculus of female psychology. When she associates you with relief, her body relaxes around you, her trust rises, her affection deepens. When she associates you with tension, everything tightens. If you ask how to fall in love faster, the answer is paradoxical. Slow down and lighten up. Show her you can carry life with grace, even when it's messy. Be the man who can turn a spilled coffee into a shared story, a misdirection into a playful detour, a rainy day into a good excuse for dancing in the kitchen. Don't underestimate the little goofy charm either, the half smile when you admit you lost the directions, the mock serious oath you swear over a pizza to protect Friday nights forever. That is the glue. You must remember that joy compounds. One shared laugh becomes two, then 10, then a private archive you both revisit when days get dark. In female psychology, those archives are proof of safety, and no stack of receipts can compete with that. So, if you still crave a formula, here's your roadmap. Notice the tension, name it kindly, nudge it playfully, and stay present. Don't chase applause, chase ease. Be her favorite place to relax, and the question of how to fall in love answers itself. Gifts may sparkle, restaurants may impress, and cars may glitter under the streetlights. But the memory she treasures is simpler. The sound of her laughter blending with yours, the weight lifting from her chest, and that unmistakable feeling that with you, she can finally breathe. 8. The ability to protect and stand for what's right. Here's a hard truth most men dodge. Money can build a house, but it can't build a home. You can stack bricks of gold, but if you lack backbone, the whole thing will collapse like a sandcastle at high tide. What women secretly crave isn't another zero in your bank account. It's not just financial security, it's safety. Not the kind that locks the door, but the kind that locks her heart with trust. Safety that's emotional, spiritual, and unshakable. And that only comes from a man with courage. Not courage to show off, courage to stand for what's right. The silent protector. A man who truly makes a woman feel safe isn't the one flexing his biceps in the mirror, shouting, "Don't worry, babe, I'll protect you." That's theater, and women can smell the act. The real protector is the man who stands firm when storms hit. He's the one who says no when the world says, "Just let it slide." He's the one who plants his feet while others scatter. That's masculine energy at its purest. Solid, grounded, reliable. Integrity is non-negotiable. Don't fool yourself. Women see through compromise faster than you think. When you bend your values to stay comfortable, she notices. When you swallow your truth to avoid conflict, she feels it. And in that moment, her trust begins to crack, like glass under pressure. But when you refuse to fold, when you speak truth while others bite their tongues, when you carry yourself with courage and clarity, even when it costs you something, that's when her eyes change. That's when she sees you as a high-value man, more than a lover. Here's the thing, women don't just want a lover. Lovers are everywhere. What's rare is a mountain to lean on, a wall to rest against, a shield when life gets brutal. Money can buy comfort, the leather couch, the nice car, the fancy dinner. But money can't buy peace of mind. Peace comes from the deep knowing, no matter how wild the storm gets out there, with him, I'm safe. That kind of safety isn't something you announce. It's not a slogan. It's energy. It's the way you live. It's the quiet authority that tells her, this man won't break when the pressure comes. Test yourself. So ask yourself and be honest. When was the last time you stood up for what was right? When was the last time you faced difficulty head-on instead of ducking away? Because that's when your true worth shows. Not in your portfolio, not in your toys, but in your backbone. That's where masculine energy lives. The man she won't leave. When you are that man, the man who lives with courage, responsibility, and meaning, you become unforgettable. You don't just attract women, you keep them. Because she knows she isn't with a boy chasing approval. She's with a man anchored in truth. That's the kind of man she never wants to walk away from. So remember, money buys things. But integrity, strength, and the will to protect? That's what makes you a high-value man. That's what will always attract women far more than dollars ever could. All right, brother, here's the truth. At the end of the day, you've got a choice. Are you becoming the man women respect, follow, and fight to stay with, or the man they use until something better comes along? Remember this. Women don't fall for wallets. They fall for presence. Money can buy attention, but it can't buy depth, direction, or strength. Those things can't be faked, and that's exactly why they're irresistible. So my advice? Stop relying on cash to carry you. Build your character, sharpen your focus, and lead with confidence. When you do, you won't have to chase love. It'll come straight to you. Now it's your turn. Drop a comment below and tell me what part of this hit you the hardest. And if you want more no-filter truths that most men are too scared to say out loud, hit that subscribe button. Until next time, stay sharp, stay real, and remember, character beats cash every single time.